I feel like it definitely like changes your mindset, because when you pay for something, you definitely want to do it. It's not like you're going to buy it, put it to the side. You're going to focus, very heavily on it. And I did. And yeah, everything I've learned from it has been, really helpful. And knowing that there's like always stuff ongoing being added to it, that helps a lot. It could be like questions I've had, and then a few weeks later there'll be like a new course on it. So I'm like, perfect. Just recently, like I closed a website for £2,000, for example, and a potential retainer for about 700 a month. I put into the chat a while back that I'd done a 5k a month, but yeah, the goal is the consistent retainer 5k a month.
Yeah, if you're good, you could jump into it. Can I just like run me through to get started, like your position before joining the circle and then after, and kind of maybe like the journey of what happened before to where you're at right about now?
Sure. Yeah. So where I was I had a load of different services. So I had the web design, marketing, photography, videography, loads of different services, but I didn't really, package the offer that too well, and my outreach systems were basically non-existent. Because I've been going for quite a while now. I just was relying on word of mouth as and when it came in. But yeah, I mean, since joining, I've been able to properly sort out the foundations of everything, the offers, the pipelines, just everything really, and automating the outreach. So I've just recently got the instantly AI all set up, so that's going well. Just need to refine it, really start getting the leads more coming in a bit more often. Yeah, just sort out the foundation of it all, really. It's a lot more off my shoulder, knowing I can have like 150 plus emails going out daily without me having to write them, which is pretty nice. Just getting it done and dusted out of the way. So yeah, things like that is great. As I say, getting the offer all set up, and really just like increasing my prices. I did feel that they were just too low. Like for a website, for example, I could charge between like 500 to £1,000, and I'm like, that's too low. So just recently, like I closed a website for £2,000, for example, and a potential retainer for about 700 a month thereafter.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's all going well, really. Nice and steady. So yeah, on my way to the £5,000 a month, really. That's the first goal. I put into the chat a while back that I'd done a 5k a month, but yeah, the goal is the consistent retainer 5k a month. So yeah, no, it's nice and steady, all going well at the moment.
Amazing, that's good to hear. So just to be clear, your service is website development. So what's your actual kind of offer if I was one of your prospects?
Yeah, so the prospect is currently predominantly like tradesmen, for example. So it could be electricians, builders, anyone in the construction industry, and it's just redesigning their website in a way where they can generate more customers online. That's the main service, basically.
Okay, fantastic. So from like, what was the kind of biggest change that you found? I know like setting up the foundations and stuff like that, but what were you doing before kind of joining the circle that didn't seem to be working as you would have wanted to?
It was more just like taking every day as it comes, rather than like putting myself out there.
Yeah.
And relying on the word of mouth mainly. That was literally it for getting work in, just word of mouth, and just relying on a few retainers I had month on month, rather than thinking like, right, I need to start making X amount of websites each month, X amount per quarter. So I just thought, once I've joined here, I'll get the skills to do it, and it's definitely opened my mind. So once I've got my outreach systems in play, and obviously the personal brand building, that's the next step for me. Getting that underway, that will all help together with it.
100%. Yeah, I completely agree. How did you kind of feel after joining the circle, kind of making the investment, because it's not a shallow investment, it's a big chunk of money. So what were your kind of emotions like?
Oh yeah, no, it was definitely overwhelming to spend that amount. One of the biggest amounts I've spent on the course. I think before then it was probably like 200 quid was the last amount I spent. So, but I feel like it definitely like changes your mindset, because when you pay for something, you definitely want to do it. It's not like you're going to buy it, put it to the side. You're going to focus, very heavily on it, and I did. And yeah, everything I've learned from it has been, really helpful. Some solid work. And knowing that there's like always stuff ongoing being added to it, that helps a lot. It could be like questions I've had, and then a few weeks later there'll be like a new course on it. So I'm like, perfect.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even with the outreach right there, like out of nowhere, Ollie popped in like a 4 hour long module on outreach. It's just, yeah, it's just like it's constantly, I think with business as a whole, if there's ever a point where it's like, yeah, there's no more to learn, then obviously you're in the wrong place. So I think the fact that it's ever expanding is super helpful. And you've kind of like partnered up with someone inside the inner circle, is that right? Or like you've made with people inside, you've kind of done business with them. How does that kind of work?
Yeah, no, it's good to be fair because it was Hugo, the one that does 3D modeling.
Yeah.
So one of my clients, about 6 years now, he's partnered up with someone who's in the MBA. He's come over to Brighton now. He lives in Worthing, and they're setting up a massive warehouse for all things sports. Options ticked for everything, basically, a massive complex. And I can't do 3D designs, but he came to me, he's like, can you make me a design, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I can't really do it, but I've got a network, so I can have a little dig around, find someone, and obviously Hugo can do the designs. So I just helped with a bit of of the other bits, some documents, brochures, a little bit of basic graphic design really, and then he just handled all the rest. So without me joining the inner circle, wouldn't be able to get that connection for a start. So it's really good, just like having a network of people where if I need anything, they're there really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the fact that there's like a variety as well. If everyone was doing the same thing, like sure it's helpful, but having the variety allows you to kind of expand and almost be like, yeah, I probably know someone that could do that if you had the request and stuff, which is yeah. I mean that's the kind of goal anyway, to build out like a real, almost like Avengers style team of just random people, random skill sets, which I'm glad is kind of like coming into fruition, which is awesome. And like when you actually joined the inner circle, were there any kind of like bottlenecks that you found that were kind of like released, if you know what I mean?
I mean, the main one really was the outreach. Getting the outreach sorted, that was definitely the first point. And then after that, it was the offers and like understanding the value ladder, because I kind of knew the concept, but as you say, you don't know what you don't know. So I kind of learned that a lot more. It just kind of like, it just clicked. So I've now got entry into stepping up for an offer for when I build the personal brand. Just a few things like that, all intertwined. Just helped really build the foundation a lot better for me.
Amazing. And what's the kind of next step then with your agency, with the business?
Yeah, so it'd be personal brand really. So now I've got the outreach system set up for going towards clients. It will be the personal brand building for everything as a whole really. So I want to be able to help business owners make their website, not just like understanding the platform, but understanding like the theory behind web design, what actually makes web design work as a whole, whether it's down to like even just the characters, the color, the typography, everything, what makes it good and what doesn't make it good, and then they can then take that towards whatever web builder platform they want to take it onto. That's up to them. But yeah, things like that, for example, building the personal brand as a whole. I've got experience in photography, videography. I did a diploma in film in college, so I know how to set up a camera, edit, etc. So it's always handy, and that should help me, second nature with building the personal brand. But yeah, just a few skills intertwined, which should be able to help people, on when I build my personal brand, just offering out what I know basically. That's kind of the direction to take it. So yeah, outreach at the moment towards business owners, and then personal brand building towards just whether it's a business owner or an entrepreneur, just teaching them what I know online. That would be the next step.
Amazing. And what your kind of like monetary goals, what you aiming for this year?
This year, I mean, if I can hit the first stepping stone of that 10k a month, 5k beforehand, but 10k a month would be a solid goal. And then at the end of the year, let me get because I've got a goals up actually. So yeah, goals: hit 10k per month, grow personal brand to 10,000 followers, and then an email list of 1,000 plus people. So my goal for email list is then eventually get people into some form of say school or circle community. And you're charging £50 a month, you've got 1,000 people. You can do the maths there. So yeah, that's kind of the goal basically with it. Scale from there.
Amazing. So the goal is kind of like take your knowledge and what you have, put it to a personal brand, and kind of like excel it that way. So are you wanting to teach people? That's kind of focus.
Yeah, definitely teaching and coaching. I think that's the best way to scale because there's only a certain amount of websites that I can build myself within a month. So if I can actually teach people the foundations and how to actually make the business online, then it will. I feel like that's definitely a way to scale it. Really, similar to you, you teach people the skill. I would want to be able to, once they've got the skill, put the all the elements around it. You're building the website, understanding, maybe even a little bit of lead outreach, getting lead gen, get people onto the website, a few things like that. So yeah, mainly the skills that I have already, but a few that I've picked up along the way.
Love that, yeah. And are you building out the team at the moment within the agency? Are you looking to kind of like delegate and then like kind of scale a bit more horizontally, let's say?
Yeah, that is a step I did actually want to speak to you about, really, because it like, at what point should I scale and delegate? Because it's like, is it a monetary point you should start delegating, or is it a time input, things like that. So I have partnered up with one of my friends who's a graphic designer. So anything graphic orientated, he can do that, logos, banners, etc. But I think a good step would be, say, get a Google Ads expert, because when a website's built, it's good to have Google Ads to get people onto it for tradesmen, for example. That's when people have a intent-based search, it's generally on Google, so they go hand in hand. So it would be good to get a Google Ads expert on board. That would be my main port of call, because the websites I don't mind doing myself still at the moment. Delegating websites to be further down the line.
Amazing, awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to delegation and stuff, to be honest, the biggest way I identify whether I delegate or not is whether I start to like hate doing a part of the business. Like that is literally it. I mean, if you like, or if you're just not very good at doing it and you know that someone could do it more efficiently, if you identify those two things, and it's probably time to delegate. A lot of it just comes into, do you like to do it or not? And if there's something that you don't really like doing, whether I don't know, it could even be like the sales calls or the actual building of the website or whatever it may be, then always find someone to do it that can do it more probably cost efficiently, easier, and of course can produce a better result because you're just building up your value proposition. When you can say we have a team of 5 people that all specialize in different areas, your service as a whole becomes much more valuable because it's not just you, but you've got like experts, which people just really like the sound of typically. And it just sounds like they're working with like a more established business as well, which is really helpful, I think, when it comes to trying to sell your service, which is that's great. Also, the last question is kind of like, what would you say to someone who was in a similar position to you before that are kind of like, interested in joining the circle? What would be your advice?
I would say definitely just, pull the trigger, really. I mean, there's so much stuff out there. It's like what you should invest in. You've got shares, you've got crypto, etc. Blah, 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 blah. The first thing you should definitely invest in is yourself. So that is your business, basically, your business, and your health as well. So, definitely invest in your business is the best way to, grow, definitely. So in a circle, it's a good start with that, basically.
Awesome. Well, awesome. Thank you, Liam. I do massively appreciate it. I think it's helpful to just see like someone that came from like a freelancing position, that kind of is looking to, go from freelance to agency or scale their team or their pricing or systems, whatever it is. I think that's where, the inner circle can help a lot of people like kind of build out those foundations properly, because a lot of people start off as a freelancer, maybe go on the freelancing platforms or, like you say, work through word of mouth, and they just kind of hit that invisible ceiling of like, right, what's next? Like, I'm doing what I feel like I should do, but not much is really changing. So
definitely,
hopefully that can help them change. But no, massive appreciative, bro, kind of sharing your thoughts and stuff like that.